there was a couple, Jewish couple, religious Jewish couple, Chassidic religious Jewish couple, Chabad religious Jewish couple in the days of the Rebbe Marash, the Rebbe Shmuel, which is about like 100 and what is it, 120 something years ago. And they wanted children. They didn't have any children. They desperately wanted to have children, and they didn't have any. Now you have to remember that Jews were really suffering in those days. Those were the days of the Tsar, and things were pretty bad for Jews. But the Jews could accept everything. But one of the worst things is not having children. One of the worst of all the terrible things, not having children. So they really wanted to have children. So they went to the Rebbe Shmuel, tremendously holy person. And they requested, or he, the husband requested that they should have for children. And the Rebbe never answered. The Rebbe just would always change the subject and give him blessings for other things. And so he didn't know exactly how to interpret this. The Rebbe did not say no. You can't have children, forget it, or adopt a child because you can't have it. But on the other hand, he certainly didn't say yes. So they didn't know what to do. Anyway, and this went on for a long time. And finally, the Hasidim continued life as Hasidim, so they made a Farbringen. And it happened to be that they made this Farbringen in his house. What's a Farbringen? A Farbringen is a Hasidic get-together. And it used to be that the Hasidim got together and they would drink vodka. They would drink vodka. I don't think it's the drinking of the vodka is as important now as it was then, but nevertheless, it certainly is important now. But so they drink vodka. When a person drinks vodka, so it becomes much more open and much more friendly, and they were talking one another about serving God and about this Chassidic stories, and people were less, egotistical, and people got drunk, and they were singing, but at about 2 a.m, they ran out of vodka. They ran out. There's a lot of stories about this, about the running out of vodka in the middle of a Hasidic Farbringen. And so they sent somebody out in the streets to find. Everything was closed. There was no possibility. So the wife of the man with the house with the, I'm sorry. So this Farbringen was held in the house of this man that didn't have any children, right? They went to the Rebbe, and his wife was listening for the other room to the Farbringen and the singing and everything like that. It brought joy into the house, but she noticed that things got all of a sudden quiet. So she went into the room and said, "What's wrong? Why are you stopping?" So they said, "Well, we ran out of vodka." So she said, "If I get vodka for you, then will you bless me to have children?" They said, "Of course. What's the question?" They said, "Well, I want the blessing first. I want the blessing first. I want you to bless me that I'll have children, that I'll have children, and then I'll bring the vodka." So usually the Hasidim would say, "Listen, I'm giving a blessing, no problem." She said, "But I want a promise. I want a promise from you." So every Jew should bless every other Jew, but every human being should bless every other human being. What's the problem? Give blessings, a good thing. But the promise, you can't promise, you don't want to keep, you make a promise, you want to keep the promise. A blessing is, I hope it'll be like this. I bless you, I hope. But a promise is, it'll certainly be. So, only the Rebbe can promise, and they didn't want to promise. So she said they were, very sort of reluctant. So she said, "Okay, then no vodka." They said, "Okay." They all stood up, and one after the other, they suddenly gave blessings, just like a Rebbe. "Next year, you will hug a child. You'll have a child. No one says your child, a male child will be born to you this next year." And everyone, they were also drunk themselves. So they sort of threw caution to the winds. Anyway, No one knows how it happened, but she went outside and came back with 2 bottles of vodka in like 5 minutes. Maybe she had them hidden somewhere. Who knows? Nobody knows what it is. But anyway, they had the vodka and they continued the Farbrengen until the morning. A few months or a couple months later, she announced to her husband that she's pregnant. And she gave birth to a child, beautiful son. And they took the son to the Rebbe. And the Rebbe, they said, there is the child, we have a blessing for the child. We want you to bless the child. So the Rebbe said, this is your child? He said, yes. So the Rebbe said, listen, I saw in heaven that you couldn't have any children. It was impossible. But I didn't want to say anything. I didn't want to make you feel bad. So I always changed the subject. And he said, how did you have this child? What happened? So she told the whole story. She got a blessing for the Chassidim. So the Rebbe said, well, the Chassidim, they don't know what happens in the upper worlds. I can see in the upper worlds, I know that it's determined and decided, decreed by the Lord that you're not going to have any children. But the Chassidim, they don't know what's decreed by the Lord. They have no idea what's going up on heaven. And it says that if a person makes a blessing with a full heart, then God listens. And it seems that the Chassidim were able to do something that I was not able to do. They blessed with all of their heart. They really wanted that vodka. They blessed with all their heart in truth because they wanted the vodka. They also wanted you to have a child. But they blessed with a full heart. And so the Chassidim could sometimes do things that the Rebbes can't do. And that's us. We're the Chassidim. So we have to ask, we want Mashiach now. We need Mashiach. Today, by the way, is Tu B'Av, which Tu B'Av is the happiest day of the year. It says there's a Mishnah in the end of Tainit, and it says the happiest day of the year was Tu B'Av and Yom Kippur. Yom Kippur because the Jews got forgiven for all their sins, so they were happy. But here was an expressed happiness, a revealed happiness. The Jews were happy. And the Rebbe said, if you remember, we learned a couple of weeks ago that it says that all of the holidays in the future will be negated. When Mashiach comes, it says, of course, they won't be negated because nothing in the Torah is going to be negated. The Torah is eternal. But what it means is that the holiness in the future, when Mashiach reveals and godliness in the whole world, that the holiness will be so great that it will surpass the holiness that's revealed now in the holidays. When holidays come along, you feel something special. Well, it's going to be so special all the time, we won't feel it. But it says that the fast days that we have now, that we just finished, the 17th day of Tammuz and Tisha B'Av, they're going to be transformed to be holidays. So we will feel the holiness of those days, of the fast days that are transformed. And the Rebbe said we have a little bit of a glimpse of that, how it's possible there could be something higher and more happy than the holidays we have now. In Tu B'Av, it says that there was no happier days, including the Simchat Torah. There were no happier days to the Jews than Tu B'Av. So today, Tu B'Av has a ray of happiness that's greater than all of the holidays and a little bit of a taste of the happiness that's going to be when all the fast days are transformed. Have a good day with Mashiach now. See you all tomorrow, 8:15. Thank you for coming.
Thank you.